Pardon me. Well, let me get ahead of myself. Or let me get behind myself. Welcome everybody to Nycos Nightly News. Tonight we are going to be carrying on a conversation about the game as it goes. Before we do that, make sure you press all the buttons down below and let the algorithm know you're part of our audience. And if you really like what's going on, make sure you subscribe so you will know every time we do an upload.
Absorbing damage is the name of the game. From the claws of monsters or the heat from a ball of flame. Our strength in numbers is a roll of the dice.
Hello and welcome to Nycos. I am Throckmorton P, Thidwhistle, your reporter with the Gnome Nightly News. And tonight we are going to be bringing you topics from far and wide. We are going to be covering 9 news nuggets you need to know. Now, our story so far, we have an ongoing campaign pursuing the mysteries of the world of Nycos that has a scheduled thread run of about 6.5 years. And we are in the 3rd year thereof, which means we're almost halfway through the twists and turns of what is going on in the world of Nycos. And so tonight we're going to be talking about the 3 groups that are currently actively pursuing these stories and referring to the indications that are going on in each one of them. Now, if you haven't been following along, this is an ongoing campaign, and I cannot actually provide you with the shortcut version other than to say there are a considerable number of points yet to pursue, and the players are endeavoring to do so. And if you like what you see, you can actually find out more at our Patreon account at patreon.com/Nycos, as well as our lore data dump at nycosrpg.info. Alrighty, let's get moving. Alright, so the city of Bastion, as we last reported, was itself under siege by the forces of the Imperator, and there were rumors that they had actually fallen and that the Empire had actually succeeded in overtaking the city. Well, in a surprise turn of events, the forces of the North, that is the forces of Shuntroa, under the watchful eye of a warlord by the name of Kantuk, has itself besieged the city of Bastion and is returning, ironically, to the would-be attackers the same treatment. And so, in addition to that, the Luthanin's army has finally recovered from its rather dire straits in the Red Mother cradle and has made it the rest of the way to Bastion and is therefore adding additional fuel to the fire. It is not thought that Bastion can hold out for long this far from the Imperator's supply lines, so we will possibly see a turn of events there that will improve the state of the Western War considerably. In an unassociated report, it appears that the Elchris has relented and has provided fair passage for the Queen of Cryopathia and her entourage, including the Luthanin, to depart for Anchorage and points east. This is a turn of events that was not quite anticipated, but it perhaps has everything to do with the recovery of the airship that was being captained by Tarnish, the mystery soldier in the insect helm. So we will be gathering information about that as it becomes available. and there may actually be more to this story coming up in a few moments. Now, it does appear that there has been some other problem within the city of in the city of Anchorage, shortly following the arrival of the Luthanin and Queen Catelyn Noir. It appears that let me see if I can find the number here. The report is not yet clarified. Give me a moment here. Yes, the apparent home of, where is she at? I don't see a note. Well, at any rate, it's a major ancestral home within the boundaries of Anchorage itself has caught fire, and the city's leadership seems to be in disarray, as several of the members of the Queen's Privy Council have gone missing and are unresponsive to our attempts to contact them. So something must be majorly affecting the inner city's governance, and it has so far thwarted our poor attempts to gather that information. Meanwhile, in the city of Slumber, a major artifact has begun to function that apparently has been dormant for the better part of nearly half a millennia. The statue of the first one, who ancestrally had been, it is said, reporting or adding a single page to its documents pile in the center of the agora, suddenly went from 1 page per month to 300 to 400 pages per day in the last week or so. And with the arrival of a party of enjoined, the first one has apparently negotiated and coordinated with them for several major potential changes. This, of course, will fly in the face of several other reports that include that the very same party of the enjoined was known to have entered the heart of Slumber and have indeed been accused of integrating with the first one cult that lives therein. So more information will be available as we move forward on this one as well. Now, an additional staggering report is that it appears, based on the adventurers being in the city, the enjoined have discovered that a second copy of the Book of Adam, the dreaded Black Book, has been found emblazoned upon the city walls. It appears they've been there for decades, but no one took the time to identify or recognize them, and yet players have apparently interpreted at least one of the pages, known as the document of Obadiah, and this seems to have major repercussions going forward, and of course more on that to be followed up each week. This is a revelation that is potentially dangerous because it does provide an open access copy of the very dangerous Book of Adam. Now, the writings in particular seem to suggest that there may be a war that might be curtailed, and details and references to this will be made available on our affiliate sites and such. So make sure that you do what you can to like and follow and subscribe so you can gain more information about what's going on with this devastating and arguably threatening discovery. in another front, from the city of, I don't know where they are. I believe they were actually in the perimeter of Slumber as well. The additional group known as the... Oh, they were going to change their name again, so I don't even have their current group name. But the ones who were previously known as the Skiffborn had a series of major timely events that went astray. It appears that there was indeed an incredibly powerful snapback that threw them not only sideways through time, but appears to have thrown them forward in time, something that has never happened before. And it appears that they were on the brink of yet another, what seemed to be global war, in which case the forces were actually being driven by something known as dark shards. So this is potentially problematic, and it caused a considerable amount of confusion for the adventuring group and indeed all of the players involved with the Skiffborn group. It appears this new war in which they found themselves embroiled had everything to do with the splinters and shards of what was left of the what was claimed to be the dark shards, and there were considerable numbers of clues that were bandied about that suggested that the enjoined had at the end of the 9th iteration done something horrible which had further splintered and destroyed the shards as themselves, invoking even more powerful and more dangerous magics. This was obviously leading to several changes, including time slips that were themselves unregulated and uncontrollable, which caused great concern. That's an incorrect image, so let me get rid of that. Now, in the light, it became apparent that they needed to discover a way out, and as it turned out, the irony of being in such a place that was isolated from the shards, it appeared that one of the last of the Dream Prism facets, one of the last of the items of power, was indeed within their hands, concealed in very public place in the form of the last of the named artifacts of which they were aware. And Delta revealed itself, and they were actually able to, by invoking the power of Delta, undo the snapback, which apparently they determined at the end to have been caused by the very existence of the 10th iteration form of Vincus, the blue item of power. So they were able to reverse the snapback, but it did bode poorly if the invocation of that out of time artifact were to be caused again. They might be hard pressed to prevent the what seemed to be dire future ahead. So and with this, we end our iteration approach, but it is important to note that we are approaching the apex, the arrival of Helios, which has been involved increasingly in the activity of the sessions each week, has now almost reached its apex. The day split is impending. It is about to become an even amount of Helios during the day and Nimbus during the night, which is considered to be a dark or evil omen, and we are approaching that rapidly. We are probably within 1 to 2 weeks of achieving that marker, and therefore there's much to be considered. Now, Before we get out of here, I do want to mention that we have a launch date now for our program going forward towards the Kickstarter of the Nycos RPG, and that will be our brand opening ceremony, which will be Saturday, the 3rd of next month, 3rd of May. And so we will be doing that at the Board Games Paradise. So if you're in Southern California and want to be a part of our activities, do mark on your calendars that day from 2 to 6 p.m. at Board Games Paradise. More information will be coming. I'll do an entire episode dedicated to that. But I did want to put the bug out there. So I want to thank you for being here. Thanks for being a part of our community. We will see you in the next time. And as Granddad used to always say, go play.